Hello, I'd like to show you how to use some of our silhouette sets, and I've chosen a cutter from the wedding set and a couple of cutters from the countryside set. So the paste I like to use is the Renshaw flower paste. I find this a very easy, firm paste to work with, and I've already got some open here. So break a piece out of the pack and work it so it's nice and pliable. And then I'm going to put a little vegetable shortening on the board, not too much, just work that over the surface and then roll out the paste. Now when you roll, don't lift the paste up and down. You want to have a good contact with the board and you roll the paste really thin. And when it's level, you haven't got any ridges along the paste, you can then put a little of the shortening onto the cutter and press around the outside edge and down the centre, so over the hands and down the centre. Make sure you get a good cut. Now flick the cutter away, just break the contact there, and peel the spare paste from around the edge of the figures, and then use a cocktail stick just to remove the centre bits there. And should you have any feathering, I haven't on the a little tiny bit there, then just use a damp brush. This is a water brush. I'm just going to go around the outside edge and take away any feathering on there, and then lift the paste at the base and peel it from the board, and then I'm going to turn it over and place it onto a sponge pad just to firm up for 10 minutes. Just check that it's in the right position, and that will be so much easier to handle when I'm going to attach it onto the cake. Now one of the other cutters, and this is quite a detailed cutter, is the tree, and this is from the countryside set. So again, work the paste, and because I've rolled out on the vegetable shortening, it helps to keep the paste pliable. If I'd used corn flour, that would have started to dry out the paste, and also it would make white smear marks on the paste. So this is another reason why we use vegetable shortening with patchwork cutters. Now I'm going to repeat what I did for the bride and groom. You put a little of the vegetable shortening on the board and roll out the paste, bearing in mind this is quite a large cutter, so I'm going to need a large piece of paste. Again, roll it, no ridges on it, make it nice and flat, and roll it thin. Right. Now if you have a large cake, a tall cake, and you want to have the tree longer, then put the grease on, as I did for the bride and groom, but you place the main part of the tree at the top and press over that, and the end of the cutter is open, so you will be able to make the trunk longer. So I'm just going to give this a good press. You've got to make sure that you go over every part of the cutter there. Down the trunk. Right, and then a little flick to remove the cutter from the paste. And if you measure the height of the tree that you want, and then just use a knife to continue down the trunk, and then you can just pull the paste away all the way around, like so. Easy to remove. And again, should you have any little bits that you want to tidy up, you can just use your damp brush for that. Now, when I lift this onto my pad, onto my sponge, I'll just put those cutters over there out the way, it will go out of shape. So I'm just going to go up the trunk first of all, and then lift that onto the sponge, turning it over and open the branches out. And again, this will be left for about 10 minutes to firm. And use the cutter as a guide so that you can, because I've turned it over, I'm going to have to put it that way. And you can use your cutter as a guide just to coax the branches into place where they should be. Doesn't really matter if they go into a different shape, but if you're following the design, then that's how you do that. And then leave that to dry again for about 10 minutes just to firm and make it easier to attach onto the cake. Now, a couple of other little cutters I want to show you, and that's in the Countryside set as well. Slightly different technique. Small piece of paste. And again, always the vegetable shortening. But this time I'm going to roll out the paste and put quite a bit of shortening on the cutter, like so, and then put the paste on there, and press down, and then just give it a little wiggle, and hold the cutter like so, and pull the paste away and towards the points, and then again that will go onto your sponge to firm up. Probably not for 10 minutes because the ends are very small, so it won't take 10 minutes to firm up. 2 or 3 minutes should do it. So you'd leave that. Now to clean your brush, I have a little clean your cutter, I have a little toothbrush, and I just take all the little pieces out like so, and then that would be ready to use again. I'll do the small one so that you can see works the same way. So roll out the paste, roll it nice and thin, the grease on the cutter, and lift that paste up onto the cutter, and then flip it over, a little jiggle, cocktail stick at the flat end, and then just peel that out of the cutter. And again, I put it down onto the sponge pad by turning it over. So I now have the surface of these, they're ready for when I put water on. I haven't got to turn them over to put the water on, they're ready to be used. And again, you would just leave that for a couple of minutes. So I'm going to attach these onto my cake. So I have an 8-inch cake here, and it's 6 inches deep. And I like to put 15mm ribbon around the board, but also around the cake, and this gives me a nice straight line so I can attach my pieces and they'll look neat. And I'm going to now use water on the back of these silhouettes. And we'll do the tree first. Don't use too much water. And just work it along. You don't want the water to ooze out behind the branches when it's in position. That should do it. And then I'm going to carefully lift my tree and pop that onto the cake like so. And if you feel that some of the branches are not going to stick, then just a little water behind at this point will hold them in position. Another one there. You can also, if branches do break, you can also add leaves just to cover up any cracks or breakages. So we have our tree on, and then round the base of the tree I would attach some grass. And again, this has nearly dried, not quite, and that can go again down to the ribbon, so you have a nice straight line there. I'll put a little piece on the other side. Again, just a little at the base, and attach that onto that side of the tree. And then the bride and groom, and a little water behind them. And then attach them onto the side. Again, you can put them so that they're just underneath the tree. Like so, down to the ribbon so there's no gap. Easy to handle, and then turn the cake, and if it should anything be a little bit skew, if you can just tidy that up. Just use your knife to push it into place, like so. So all our silhouette cutters are used in the same way, and here's a selection of cakes made using some of the other sets.